one other person who had not completed a storytelling, but maybe they'll let us know so we can get that in today. I'm going to take you through a little bit of the PowerPoint reminders, and then we're going to do an exercise on how to say your cites, because your informative speech is coming up next Tuesday. It is not just, I'm going to tell you about this place that I already know. It is that you as a collegiate student have gone out and found lots of resources, a minimum of 5. And on the bottom of your outline, you are going to put a works cited, which is something you wrote in formal English papers before. The difference in a speech class is that we don't have to just use academic journals and books and formal things. In our speeches, we can raise our authority, our credibility as a speaker by even citing, telling stories and saying something that, like, the director of some place said, like something that was kept in a reflection journal or a diary. We can bring those kinds of things in and cite them. Videos, different pieces of, I don't know, pamphlets and things like that. So you can go ahead and give credit to and say a source, and we're going to talk about how to do that and how to put it in your outline form too. Okay, day 5, PowerPoint, share screen. Before you do any of your expository speeches, that's our informative, our demonstration speech when you show us how to do something, and our persuasive when you convince us to take action. Before you compose any kind of message, you need to think, what's my purpose? What's my specific purpose? Am I entertaining, like our stories often did? Am I informing? Am I persuading you? Or am I just saying something to make me feel good, to get it out? How many of you had an English teacher tell you there are 3 reasons to write? To inform. What's the other ones? We write to inform, persuade, and entertain. You ever have an English teacher tell you that? You heard those phrasing? I always add a 4th purpose. When my daughter calls her grandma, she'd be like a teenager down in Florida, and she'd call her grandma and she'd be like, whoa, 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 and you're letting it all out. Do you have a friend that you feel you can talk to and you just whoa, 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 let it out? There's a Greek word for that, and it's called catharsis. So I'm actually going to insert a new slide real fast for my future classes, because this is a great place for me to remember to put the 4 purposes: inform, persuade, entertain, and catharsis. Catharsis is a Greek word, and it means to cleanse. And so these are purposes. And I'll put a new graphic in there and everything later, but there we go. Your informative speech has a lot of things, and these are all in your course outline, and if they're not, you're supposed to remember to have told me about it. My outline wasn't right. You have not only to drop your outline plan in, but you also need filling in all of the components from attention getter down to the closer line. But I want you to highlight your citations. So where you, Julia, what's your topic going to be?
It's going to be over the Cumberland Playhouse.
Oh, good. I've seen a lot of those. And by the way, if you haven't looked at the informative resources yet, there's 1 PowerPoint and 1 video about that you can review. Smart speakers don't have to create everything from themselves. You can look at other sources to get your ideas clarified, or to go, oh yeah, I could say that, or oh yeah, I could use that picture, and you go to Google Images and you find it, as long as you give credit to the sources that support you, it's totally fine to use them in a speech. So thank you, Julia, for that example. So if she highlights that James Crabtree, who kind of runs the whole place, not management, but he's in charge of it all. His parents actually started it. So if she says James Crabtree indicates that their Actors Guild is so developed now that they can put on plays, you know, more rapidly, but they still use community actors. That's a whole citation that you could say in your speech. If you write James Crabtree indicates blah, 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 blah on your outline, saying that's going to be a citation, I want you to highlight that, where you have planned exactly how and where you're going to put citations on your plan, your outline. I want that highlighted. Excuse me. Then at the bottom, you need to make a works cited. If you've played with CiteFast, you could go and create a folder for Cumberland County Playhouse or whatever that is, and say CCP informative speech. And every time you talk to someone, you can click on interview, and it asks you for the date and the different information. You fill in all the stuff you can and save that citation, and you can keep adding to it. When you export that to Word, you're going to have a nice MLA works cited. Hopefully you remember that the headings need to be centered. And then you just copy that, you export it to Word, copy that, and put it in the bottom of your outline. Somebody tell me what I just said you have to turn in with this outline.
Your works cited.
Anything more? Did you guys hear anything more from what I just went blah, blah, blah? Where do you find the outline? Now you've had a chance to play around in momentum. Where do you find the outline?
You can find it under speech resources. I think it's speech resources, and then you go to, it's like past the personal experience stories. It should be the second one down.
Yeah, past the storytelling. Excellent, Megan. You can also find it in Dropbox. I've actually put it in both places. And on your course outline, I think I even put a direct link to it. I said, here's the pathway with that whole speech resources, informative, content, speech resources, informative. And then I said, or click here. By the way, thank you, you guys that answer, because what that allows the other listeners to do is Morphew's not just going push, 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 telling you so much stuff. You can tell me what you think, and I can clarify or confirm. Good communicators do that. You stop the flow, you ask a response, and it makes sure it confirms whether they understand. So you can extend it or correct it, okay? All right, so you've got the outline done, and even probably before that, I think, because on the due dates, it's due sooner, you have a written grade. So it's since you only have a few written assignments, you really want that in on time. You need to post, I'm doing the Cumberland County Playhouse and their benefits are this, this, and this. Or just the sentence, the Cumberland County Playhouse in Crossville, Tennessee benefits our community by this, this, and this. Or the 3 benefits of the Cumberland County Playhouse for Crossville, Tennessee, and surrounding, actually, people come from all over the states and the world to come see us. So the 3 benefits of the Cumberland County Playhouse are this, this, and this. However you want to phrase it, that needs to be posted in the discussion forum that says that this is what it's for. I think I put on the slide discussion number 3. I hope that's right. And it is. Then by a certain date, you need to read all everybody else's. You know, it's so easy. It's a one-liner generally, sometimes one paragraph. And you need to connect to that. You need to reply to 2 of them minimum. I've had people reply to everybody, and it's awesome because the peers feel your love. You can say all the stuff about, oh, hey, I go there every week, or I volunteer there, and I love this topic because of this or that. You can actually even use a meme if it extends your message. So you don't just want to go rah, rah. You're in college, you need to think about how you can even help your peers. You can ask questions. You know, maybe you'd say, I go there every week and volunteer. Have you ever done that? And do you know anybody else that does that? And then that person would go like, oh yeah, I could say that in my speech. Aaliyah asked me if I volunteer. Well, no, I haven't yet, but I'm thinking about it. Or maybe when I grow up and have a little more time. And by the way, when I say grow up, I often say, when I grow up, I'm going to be a doctor and write a book. So that's not any kind of talk about your age. I am taking this off. You do not post your speech in a URL. I'm gonna leave it on there so you can tell everybody that's freaking out, oh my gosh, do we have to do a video? I'm leaving it on there because I may use this PowerPoint or adapt it for my future classes if they get kicked all online. So just I'll do this. Let's see, home and cross out. But tell the people that missed listening to my talk right now, tell them that no, we voted as a class and Morphew is going to let us do it live. Okay? All right. I already told you the thing about the citations. When you do your work cited, by the way, for every class, you do what the professor wants. Miss M, Morphew likes date cited to be clicked. In MLA 8, you don't always have to do that if you went right by the formal rules, but Morphew likes it, so do it. Okay. Any questions about the outline or the discussion post? Clarifications?
I have a question about the outline.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so do we have to like put our exact quote in the outline, or can we just do like a general sentence and then like highlight it and put our source under it?
Thank you. Let me do a stop share here and go to our outline. And I need to put a slide in there. Am I on my PowerPoint, or did I get to our webpage for you?
You're on the PowerPoint.
Screw it, sorry. All right, so try it again. By the way, as a speaker, it sounds awkward when they go like, oh, am I in the right place? But it'd be better to ask if you're in the right place, would it not, than it would be to, I'm wondering if I can, I don't want the rubric. I'm trying to get, which one's my desktop? Oh, there, sorry. But it'd be better to ask in advance than to start talking about something that they're not seeing. You should be seeing my COMM2025. Are you seeing it? Cool. All right. I specifically said I want you to look at the outline. So there's a couple of ways to get to the outline, just like there are to get to the rubric. Content, and we just talked about it. I can try this. Search box, informative outline. I can go in Dropbox. I can go in the whole pathway thing. If you see a numerous ones, I don't know why I'm showing so many different ones, go to the most recent. And if it takes forever to load, you can always go to download and boom, it opens up. It's being a little long, so I'm going to click download. Hello, where'd you go? Okay. And I'm going to make it bigger. It is, your outline is in time. I have everybody do everything in Times New Roman 12. And my reason for doing that is it's a good thing to practice. But honestly, your outline is not such a big deal. That's not very big, is it? Oh, I know what I can do. I'll just go down from 100% to a little larger. There. All right. First of all, if you did Dropbox test, you know that this blue stuff is important to know, but it is not essential to turn it in. So I give you these hints, and I'm going to get rid of that before I type in stuff. Type in your name, your date, your section. Your specific purpose is listed for you. You just need to say what the group is. For those who don't know, CCP is the short way of saying Cumberland County Playhouse. Mary and Paul Crabtree established this playhouse over 50 years ago. In fact, is anybody doing it besides the one? Did you know that there is a PBS special called, and write this down if you've got CCP, there's a PBS special, Public Broadcasting System special, called Bright Lights, Little City. And that is a show they put on PBS about the Cumberland County Playhouse's 50th anniversary. So say I'm doing CCP. I don't have to highlight that. By the end of my speech, my audience should, and since I'm informing them, they should probably know the benefits of CCP, Cumberland County Playhouse. Get it? Now, this whole useful sentence is not always needed to be said. You don't have to say, you need to know these because, you know, this will be useful for you to know because of this. However, as a speaker, you need to know personally why a topic is useful. And if you know that in your heart, you will guide your message. You will form your message so that it will connect and be meaningful to your audience. In demo speeches, when you are doing a demonstration speech, you need to actually tell them, this is why it's useful to you to know, okay? So you can go ahead and fill that out if you choose. I'd like you to write down what visuals you're going to use to connect and appeal to your audience, to extend your message. If you're going to do a PowerPoint or slideshow, hold up a little woof toy, you need to plan those things out. Because an outline is Y-O-U, usable for you. You need to have the whole thing scoped out for you, not just because Miss Morphew is going to see it, okay? Attention getters are some way you go into this that's going to really grab us. If we're physically in rooms, I've had people use audio sounds, dim lights, say stories, so they do the whole multi-sensory thing that related to their speech. I've had them have interesting pictures up. I've had them tell stories or do some kind of descriptive things. So an attention getter, give startling facts, is going to get our interest and kind of cue us in. I said telling a story already. Telling stories are great ways to get us connected. But you're going to prime the listener's minds with an attention getter. Credibility is something we're going to cover today. And you need to know this. Credibility is all about you. Why are you a credible, believable speaker about this topic? and you might tell a story, or you might give us some statements of what you do with this particular group, or how you ran across it randomly and so you started researching it, how your mother went there and then you found it of value. You just tell us something that makes us understand why you are believable about this topic. Your thesis is easy, guys. Your thesis in this case is essentially the 3 benefits of the Cumberland County Playhouse, right? Okay, so however you want to write the sentences, maybe you'd say CCP benefits the Cumberland County community and, the Cumberland County, Tennessee, U.S. and international audiences or communities. Okay? Whatever. Got it? You write a sentence there. Again, you're still not highlighting yet. That's only for your citations. Now, you're going to tell us if it's, we talked about this at the very end of class. We said that there are a number of things that are the benefits of particular businesses, organizations, or resources, and or the ones that we need, right? And the benefits can be economic. We said cultural. Do you remember any of the other ones we said? If they supply jobs, that's economic, right? If we pay taxes, that's economic. Cultural, you said other things like they help us.
Educational.
Say it again. Recreational stuff.
I said educational.
Educational stuff. Educational benefits. What else? Do you remember? Something to do, maybe something about events. That would maybe go under cultural. Anyhow, historical, yes. So there's more reasons than we just given you topics for, but you need to think of 3 benefits that this provides that makes it worthy to inform us, okay? By the way, if you can think of 4 you want to cover, talk to me. It's all right. Some people literally do 2 points, but they really put a lot of different stories and facts and citations and illustrations. They really put a lot in there for each of those 2 main points. This can flex, but I give you this outline structure because we know that research indicates listeners can follow 3 main points quite well. Okay, certain numbers, 3, 5, 7 are important. Most of your people that are teaching speech will say 3 is good. Now, each of these in the body, so I put my 3 points here. Say I said economic. Say I said, and by the way, don't put yours in this format yet. How about community volunteers or something? You can use these ideas, but don't steal them unless they work for your topic, guys, okay? Number 1, this is going to be a preview sentence. I can add it to thesis, and when I'm talking, I could say, the Cumberland County Playhouse benefits Cumberland County community members, and it benefits Tennessee, the United States, and international audiences that come to enjoy plays there. The benefits are many. They benefit the community economically, culturally, and they offer opportunities for community volunteering. Boom! Do you see how I didn't write the whole thing out, but I talked with this structure? The first thing here is a transition word, and I actually am going to put that transition word, that transition list, in news. When you were doing your little old 5th grade English papers, did your teachers tell you to put first, next, finally, in conclusion? Okay. Those are great transition words. If you do that, by the way, you have 8 points on your outline because each one's worth 2 points. People who leave them off sound choppy. Stephanie, are you here? Dog it. Stephanie has a cultural cadence. She has a Hispanic cadence. They often speak without putting transitional sentences. Now, I know that because I taught all those Hispanic students in Tampa from different Hispanic countries. You need to practice inserting intentional transition phrases and words, okay? We got a good list you can choose from. Then each main point you have to write as a full sentence. So the simplest would be the first, and there's my transition word, right? The first benefit, in fact, let me move that up there so I don't screw people up thinking, oh, wait a minute, they didn't put that in there. The first benefit is economic, which is not the biggest benefit from CCP, but it offers tax stuff, it offers jobs, it offers all kinds of stuff, and people could research that and figure out who it gives jobs to, how much they get, and if it's relevant, toss it in. All right, but this has to be a full sentence. The first benefit of CCP is economic. Boom. Do you see how that's a sentence? If your transition and main point are a sentence, then you'll keep going back to saying that. And you give all the little ideas, jobs, taxes, blah, 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 whatever is economic here. Gas, the visitors, the hotels, whatever is of a benefit. And then you might tell a story, you might give a quote, you might give statistics, you might give any reasons, examples, explanations that are going to support that. So say I tell a story about my friend who works at where? Give me a hotel in here people would go to. Cumberland County people, talk to me. Give me a name of a hotel.
Motel 6.
Okay. All right. And that's where I'm going to toss in a story. Now you can write out your whole speech plan. Some people like to, or you can do it like this, okay? If I have my story about my friend who works at Motel 6, but I want to make a quote for them. Let's say my friend's name is, give me a name. Name, give me a name. Don't count on me.
Jessica.
All right. Jessica Rabbit says, y'all don't even know who that is, do you? That's too old for you. Jessica Rabbit says, and what could Jessica say that would be about the fact that she works at the hotel and she sees all these, something about the visitors from the playhouse. What would she say? Kenry, can you make up a sentence? What would this hotel employee say that would indicate that people come to her hotel and say they're going to the playhouse? Anything. Give me a sentence.
She could say something along the lines of, there's a show in town because the motel is always booming with people from up north, from out west, from across the country, always asking questions about where to go eat.
Oh my gosh, you're awesome. I'm glad I chose you. Okay, because there's always people from up north, Out west. What did you just say?
Up north, out west, definitely out of town because they're always asking where to go eat, where to shop, and the best the best places to golf. Like that's kind of that's how.
Oh, right.
And then it's crossbow.
Where to go eat? What else?
Shop.
Is it? Oh, that is such a great quote. Now that is a citation. I have put it in my outline. I'm going to make sure that I add that in there. And I am going to create an interview citation for my works cited. Okay? The actual citations are highlighted. The reason for that is highlighting actually engages with the brain. There's research on it, and it will allow you to remember or be more likely to remember to say your citations. 68% of you, I think it was, yesterday indicated that you're afraid you might forget to say your cites. And I have said to you to consider having it in a PowerPoint so that you can do that. I have a slide a little later on where I've put a statement and what source I got it from, and that's going to remind me to say the Speaker's Guidebook, 4th edition, says this, or includes a list that says this, or like that, okay? Now don't forget, you're going to put lots of supporting reasons, examples, stories, descriptions, and all of them in the first one's going to talk about whatever your first main point is. All of them in the second little block there are going to support your second main point, your second sentence or paragraph, body paragraph, and so forth. When you get to the very end, in conclusion, or to finish up, or whatever you want to use, or to sum it up, and then this is where you are basically saying there are 3 main benefits, or 3 benefits we can consider about the CCP are blah, blah, blah. How easy is this structure, guys? You see it? The closer line is no new info, but nothing in the conclusion has new information. The strongest speakers aren't going to confuse things and add something new, okay? But the closer could be an appeal where you say, so come on over and join us. Could be something, if you started an attention getter with a story about a night that your family went to there, or you went with your boyfriend on your first date or your girlfriend, sorry about that, guys, to the Playhouse, you could start that in your attention getter, and when you get down here to the closer, you could so that was my first great date, and now maybe you'll enjoy it too, or something like that. But whatever you do, make your closer line strong, and then stop and look to your audience. If you're in person, you stop, you stand, that Will Rogers moment, and you look. If you're in Zoom, you do like several of you did today and yesterday, and you stop and you look at the camera like, I got you. You got my message. Okay. What do you think? Can you do this? Okay. I think you can. Remember, it's only 4 to 6 minutes, but you will be surprised at how fast it goes. And I want to recommend, based on some speeches we had today, that you not read it to us. Speaking of going fast, when you read, all of us, especially those who read fast, will read fast out loud. So that'll make you go and not get your time unit that you want to do. More than that, more importantly than time grades, it's hard to understand if we don't work on our delivery, specifically telling versus reading to us. Okay, it could be the best organization, and that's good, but it needs to be told. All right, now I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. And give you a quick rundown on a few things about all of your remaining speeches. I misspelled that. Oh my goodness. So on the PowerPoint, I'm gonna have that misspelled. I didn't know why that looked wrong. We know that Aristotle has those 3 pillars of persuasion. You mentioned them. One of the guys told us ethos, pathos, logos. Ethos is whether, and Aristotle actually said ethos is the most important. Ethos is whether we trust the speaker and we trust the material. In today's news and social media, as we become even more polarized in opinions and begin to look at certain sources that we trust, that, we already had that opinion, confirmatory bias, right? We already had that opinion, so we're going to go to the same kinds of sources with people with the same. You want to establish trust with your audience and let them know that you are an authority and you're using authoritative sources to say so also. Remember that credibility statement where you said, hey, here's a story of why I connect with my organization? That's ethos. The pathos is, or pathos if you will, but pathos is grabbing our emotions. And even in the storytelling, you could do that. How many of you kind of went on that journey with Kenry yesterday? She kind of got us emotionally involved with the whole fantasy of that child, and her eyes went up in her head. It gave us the delivery that increased the pathos. Some of you with your PowerPoints had these beautiful slides. That especially visual appeal is a powerful opportunity when you do any of our speeches. So increase the emotional appeal. That doesn't mean you have to be sappy. I had one student come to me. She's this tomboy in Cumberland County. Y'all may know Brianne. But she fishes and she hunts and everything like that. And she came up to me one time. She'd been scoring low, and she was a good student who always scored high, but she would score low on her appeals. And she was mad at me because she's like, well, I did that. And we actually looked at some of her work in her outlines, and I said, yes, that's that, but the you really need to increase the emotion. And she said, I don't want to be all sappy. And I said, I get that, but you can make us laugh, you can make us cry, you can just kind of grab us with, I said, you love to fish, talk about topics that you really love. And if you're talking about putting a hook into this or that or whatever else, that's good. That whole topic there is going to increase appeals. Logos is what you do when you put in your logic and you put in your facts and you put in those explanations that will appeal to the mind. A lot of us think in different ways. Brianne thought in, I'm thinking it's Brianna, so I'm sorry if I'm messing up her name, but she thinks in logos and ethos, and she wasn't grabbing on the pathos. Different people feel different ways, so you need to try to increase all of your rhetorical appeals. Use all of these. Use facts, use stories, use visuals. I've already told you about this. I would not put a lot of text on any slide. There is no need. Put bullet points. If you need to use text, you use just what you need and you put the visuals. One more time, I'm going to remind you, if you have not seen Nancy Duarte's 5 rules, it is exemplary for your expository speeches, your informative, your demo, and your persuasive. Expository like the old essay structure, like our outlines. So guys, you've gotten a ton of information, you've seen stories, but we're gonna need to take a break. I want you to, during this 15-minute break, I want you to write down one sentence, not a lot of information. If you wanna do a whole reflection, that's fine. But I want one sentence that either summarizes, compares, or captures some kind of idea about what we've covered so far, okay? It is 9:10. I'll see you at, or 10:10 for those in Campbell. I'll see you in 15 minutes.
Can we do it in our reflection journal?
I think that's wise.
Okay.
Everybody got this down? Because I'm going to get off the screen share. Basically one sentence. I'll get coffee and be right back. Hey, Stephanie, you're on. Yay!